What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the very start of Grand Races and how to avoid all the chaos. There's tons of chaos that happens at the beginning of Grand Races, and it's real tough to avoid all of it. All right, it's still chaotic, even if you're doing a good job avoiding it like I just did. Let's get into it, man. Let's go. All right, so we're in Street 1, and we are starting in last place. That means we have 60% nitro to go, which is nice. However, we're at a significant disadvantage, particularly on this route, because the first corner is so close to the start. So if there's anyone in the front of the race that has any skill or any, like, you know, decent driving, they're going to get away really easily, because that first corner is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. So let me start this up. We're in the Integra. This is the main stage. Everyone else is basically in the Integra. And that kind of brings me to the first point. If you're not picking the correct cars for the class, or you're not picking the correct cars for the route, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage and immediately subjecting yourself to all of the chaos that happens in that first turn, because you don't have that a little bit extra ability to either, you know, maybe the car has better NOS power or whatnot. You just are putting yourself at a disadvantage. I highly recommend just using meta, especially when you're trying to learn and just be better at the game. It's really important to keep driving the same cars over and over again. Anyways, let's get to this first turn. So here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking here at the beginning of this race. I just want to find clean air. I just want to find clean space. I don't want to run into the back of any cars. I just want to drive and not have to hit anybody. For this first turn, it's really important that you hit the gutter. I let everybody go that way. I did not follow them. I'm looking for the gutter. And the reason is because I can exit this corner with a lot more speed than they will. If you watch here, notice I'm catching up. I'm catching up. Look how much more speed I have. But if you notice, I'm not even like really hitting the NOS super hard, just a little bit there, just a tiny bit on exit of the corner, right? And I'm catching these guys because I hit the gutter like you're supposed to, and I exited that corner with a lot of speed. Now, the goal here, there's a lot of traffic in front of me. The goal here is to not hit the back of any cars. And what do I do right away? Boom, I hit the Integra. So this is what's something that's very important here that you got to understand. Every single contact you make with another car drops your miles per hour, drops your speed a lot. So when you are like in this case, I had the momentum. I had the ability to drive past these guys, but because I hit this Integra, it dropped me back 6 miles per hour. So I'm at 131 when I hit the Integra, and then I'm down to 125. So just by hitting that Integra, I lost 6 miles per hour on that little tiny section of road. It really matters with your momentum, because now I have to accelerate that 6 miles per hour back again. Momentum is really key here. So anyway, I'm trying not to hit the back of any cars. So let's see what I do here. I've got all these people going everywhere. I'm just trying to stay in the middle of the road. Stay in the middle of the road here. Don't get pushed off road. Don't get pushed. That's all I'm thinking here. Now, right here, I'm thinking I'm taking this shortcut that's here. Right at this checkpoint, you go across the grass. This is a pretty common one. We've been doing this one since the game came out. But if you're not familiar with it, I strongly recommend watching races and getting familiar with the cuts. If you don't know the cuts or you don't know the track, it's really important because it sets you up. It allows you to plan what your next move is. And in this case, I'm planning right now. I'm thinking in my head, I do not want any cars on the left side of me because I need to cut across the grass to the left. Okay, let's see what happens. Immediately, there are 2 cars on the left side of me. I should not have let that happen. The unfortunate thing is both of these cars sort of ran into each other and drifted to the left a little bit, and I didn't expect it, but I wanted that clean air. But notice what's going on right now. If you zoom into the exhaust, I am nosing right now because I do not want to have these guys on my left as I'm going across this grass. So I immediately hit the NOS, and I do something that's, you know, maybe not the most ethical, I guess, but I turn into this guy, Guest. I turn into him because if he decides that he wants to stay straight on this road, he's going to take me with him on that straight, and I do not want to be on the road. So let's see what happens here. Turn into him. He fortunately knew the cut and took it. But if he didn't know the cut, we'd be over there on the right, over there with Silos. Anyways, so we get through the cut. Now I'm thinking let's survive and not hit at the back of any cars. Right here, you got these 2 guys going off to the left. You got to see that ahead of time. What are these guys going to do now that they're on the left side? What are they going to do next? They're going to swing back to the right because they want to get back on the road. This black car here was kind of drifting to the left, so he put me in a position that I didn't want to be in. I didn't want to be subject to these 2 guys that are coming back on the road. However, I'm watching them, and I swing back to the right. So I narrowly avoided this guy, but it could have been disastrous. We take a look at how this unfolded. I'm looking for that clean air. That's all I'm looking for. Just those gaps, right? So now I've got some space. I've got a little bit of time. I've got some gaps. I've got some momentum here. And now it's just, let's stay with these guys in slipstream and avoid this guy who went off-road, who's going to have to swing back left. Ready? Here he goes. Back to the left. Yep. And he goes all the way from the grass over here, all the way over here to the left side of the road. You got to be prepared for that. That happens too often. Anyways, I went to the right of him. Now I'm thinking, okay, this is it. We're good. We're in slip. We're not at the front, but we are. It is what it is, because if you look at this race, you have the front pack here. They were likely already in the front when the race started, because it's really hard to push your way to the front on that first turn. Anyways, they're getting going, so I'm not too worried about that. What I am worried about is there's another cut across the grass here. And again, I do not want a car on my left side. So what am I doing? I'm just protecting it. I'm going into the gutter here. I let off the gas here. I let him pass. Or I didn't let him pass, but I let him go. I gave him the space here because I didn't want to be on the right side of his car. And for good reason. Watch what happens. Boom. Calvino actually runs into him because he goes wide on this corner. He goes a little bit wide, and he has to correct that by not hit this wall on the left. So he swings back right and hits a Del Pro, and that causes a Del Pro to go way over here. Watch. Way over there. Now, where is he? He's gone, right? Calvino has his line, which is what he wants. I avoided all of it by one simple thing. All I did was let off the gas here and let this guy go through. I didn't fight him for this. I could have kept going. I had the momentum here. I could have kept going. I could have nosed even to get on the left side. But then when Calvino went to swing over, guess what? He hits Adele. Adele hits me. My race is over. Adele probably would have survived. So I apologize about that, Adele. But here's what happens. I let him go. Calvino swings over. And this is unintentional. Calvino's not trying to crash him, right? All he did was swing over to make sure he didn't hit the wall. That's all it was. And it was up to Adele Pro to see that coming and sort of, you know, you have to kind of guess a little bit that he's going to do that. You have to anticipate that. But I did. I saw it coming a mile away, and I just let off the gas and let these guys do it and just kept on going. Now we're across the grass here, and we're pretty much in safe territory because there's not really anything else to do in the front. So anyways, that's the first one. I'm talking way too much on this, but I'm going to try to do is just give you all the tips I can as I'm watching this. So let's move on to the next one. All right, this is another street one star. I'm starting in 21st position. I have 50% NOS. We're going straight into a corner here. This is a pretty common, like pretty easy corner. So most of this is just like finding clean air. So let's just take a look here. Let's take a look at what we are doing at the beginning here. We've got a little bit better acceleration than most cars with the GTI. So going into this, I know that, and I should be able to catch some of these guys. Plus we have slipstream. Now already we see a little bit of pushing between Liam the Goat and this guy. And then I'm Doobie is just kind of hanging out on the left side. He's not doing nothing. Anyways, these guys are chilling. You see the open space here on the inside. That's where I'm shooting for. So I get the open space. I make the pass on these three cars, no problem. My vision is shifted to these two. So you got this guy over here, invisible, who's already like in a bad position. He's turning to the right. Notice that. So he's going to come cutting across. This guy right here in the pink Porsche, he's lost it. You can see the smoke, man. He lost the back end, and he's probably going, he's still turning to the right still. So he's probably going into the dirt. Yep. This guy corrected himself and went back to the left because he saw he was turning too much. So he went back left. No problem there. We're avoiding that, and we're just trying to stay smooth. So now I'm looking at clean air again. Most of the time on these turns, a lot of people go wide, especially if the car understeers. The Porsche understeers a little bit. This car understeers a little bit. The Audi understeers. So everybody's kind of just hanging out on the right side. So here we go. Looking for clean air. Find it. All right, this guy wants this inside lane for some reason. You can see he's nosing as well. He wanted this inside line. I don't know if he probably wasn't trying to block or anything, but he was literally just wanted to be on the inside. So like, here's what happens. I see it coming. Look at he's coming over. So what I need to do is get myself in between him and this line and start kind of pushing back. So I need to be there. If he swings over and I hit the back of him, I'm losing all momentum. So I don't want to lose momentum. I want to be on the side of him, and I want to push him out of that line because I really just don't want to lose that line. So what do? NOS. NOS in here. He's nosing. I'm trying to stay away from this dirt, and he ends up this RS2 has way better NOS power than the GTI. He ends up getting back past me, but what didn't happen is I didn't run into the back of him and lose my momentum. So here we go. Now on this part, here's what I'm thinking. Again, there's a shortcut coming up. This is really important. I keep saying there's a shortcut coming up. It's because you have to know these cuts. Otherwise, how are you supposed to do well at the beginning of the races? Anyways, there's a shortcut coming up. You can see it on the mini map. You can go from one checkpoint to the other and cut that corner completely, but not everybody knows this, and you have to think as if all of the people are not going to take the shortcut and they're going to crash you. That's how you have to think. So as I'm approaching this, I want to be on the right side. I don't want anyone on the right side of me because I have to cut to the right? So I'm staying to the right side. Luckily, no one is passing me here. No one is on the right side. We're good to go. So the shortcut's nice and clear for me. I'm okay, and I take the cut. Now what I'm thinking is I hope these guys don't come over on me. I hope that they, get the slowdown on the wall. I get lucky. They do. I pass barely, and we are off and running, and that is it for the start of this race. All right, let's move on. All right, this race was exactly the same start and the exact same car, but I wanted to show you how powerful this shortcut is. So going into the shortcut, you can see I'm in 11th place. Watch what happens when I go through it. 11th, and now I'm in first. That's how powerful knowing the track actually is. You have to know the tracks, guys. It's important. Anyways, I avoided the whole chaos of that first corner. Everyone else got busted up in it, and I went right through it and ended up in first, even though shortly after that I got overtaken. But that is why knowing the track is so important. All right, in this example, I'm going to show you one of my worst starts ever, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I feel like are not necessarily within my control, but also a lot of things that are within my control, and I didn't think they were while I was racing. I recorded this race simply because it was one of my worst starts ever. So let's see what happens. First of all, I'm starting in the back. I'm in the Agera R, which means I have some NOS. I'm gonna start using it, little bits of it here in just a moment. Here's my first mistake. Look at how full my NOS tank is right now, and look at where the pack of people are. I started in the back, which means I have the most NOS. I should be using NOS here early in the race to get away from all of this stuff that's happening in the mid pack. I want to like skyrocket to the front of the pack if I can, especially on this route where most of it is just highway and you can sort of dodge and make good passes. Right about now I'm thinking I need to start using NOS, and I'm looking at the guy that went off the road on the left. I did not expect him to hit a tree. I did not expect that. I should have, because he was doing this beforehand. He got pushed, hit the tree. I didn't see the push. If I would have seen the push, or did he hit the sign? I think he hit the sign. I didn't see the push, but he's going directly into the sign. You can see it right now. You can see it. I should have watched this. I watched it happen. We back it up a little bit. You can see that. Look how far ahead they are. I should have seen this coming. I don't know why I didn't see this. Boom, hits the thing. I hit him. Immediately lose a bunch of speed. I actually go off-road, have to reset. So now I'm in a really bad spot. Now I'm really, that alone, just not seeing that is just huge. But there's more to come. Let's fast forward to when I get closer to people again. So I'm just trying to gain speed again, get back up to speed. All right, I come around this corner, and what do we see? First of all, Fluffy Man is way into the woods. Not sure what happened to that guy. He's trying to take a cut, maybe? I'm not sure. But if we look up here, this white car is already sideways across the road. He's already lost the back end. He's ready to crash. Okay, I did not even pay attention to it. Then once I recognize it, I see him going to the right. His car's pointing to the right. Look, I'm already kind of pointing to the right, so I was going to try to avoid him. The problem is, I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit back left, because you have a left-hand turn here. This guy's going to make a left-hand turn. He's going to start from the right side of the road to make the left-hand turn, correct? Nope. He overcorrects, comes back to me on the left side. Crazy turn of events. His car was pointed completely to the right side. By the time I got to him, all the way to the left side. I did try to avoid it, but I couldn't. Got hit again. Okay. All right, let's try to avoid other cars. We're still going. I'm real pissed at this point. But we're trying to avoid these guys. All right, here we go. And we make the pass okay. We're trying to take the appropriate line. But guess what? You see these little arrows over here on the left side? That is death waiting for me. That is two Bugattis. Was it two Bugattis? Okay, a Bugatti and a Proto. Both of those cars understeer like crazy. Look at this death that's waiting for me in these arrows. Here we go. I'm in the line. Oh my God, here they are. Here they come. Not only are they not going to brake for the corner at all, I'm braking because I want to take the corner correctly. But guess what? Death. Two deaths. Into the wall I go. With both of them. It's a crazy way to start this race. And I made too many mistakes. And because of that, I'm back in 17th, having to fight forward once again. A lot of you might be thinking when you're racing like this, oh, it's not your fault. You're just driving. All of a sudden someone rams into you. But it is your fault. It is your fault because those are all avoidable problems. Those are all avoidable. I should have braked on this one. Look at right here. When I'm approaching this corner, you've got two cars that understeer like crazy. You're in the back of the pack, which means these guys are not the most skilled, and no shade to these guys. It's just, you know, they haven't spent the time to get really good at the game. So here they are. We see them. They're in Bugattis. I know they're going to understeer the corner. And instead of planning for that, I'm already frustrated because of those first two mistakes. Instead of planning for them understeering those corners, I just take the corner normally as if they're not even there. And I should have braked even more, waited for them to go past, and then made the turn. But instead, I decided to try to take it, and I get thrown into the wall. You're like, ah, man, these guys just threw me into a wall. Yeah, but you could have avoided it. 100%. I could have avoided that situation. I could have avoided that first crash with the guy that hit the sign. I saw that a mile away. The second guy that crashed, I saw him and tried to avoid it, but I didn't expect him to go to the left. I still could have avoided it. I could have went way farther left just to make sure I don't hit him because I already had a bad start. There are little things that you guys can do 100% to avoid all of this stuff. And honestly, I'm no different. So it was on me, this one. All right, this next one is in the racing category. I'm actually starting in front, but this particular route has a really nasty, like 90-degree turn at the end of it. After we're going really fast, all of a sudden there's a 90-degree turn and the whole pack just, you know, goes crazy into the wall. So I know this as I'm starting, and I'm thinking to myself the entire time, like, how am I going to avoid this? And I'll show you what I do. So obviously we're starting, we're accelerating here. Luckily we're, you know, in the front here. Here we go. Now we're getting to, here's the turn. You can see on the mini map, there's the turn. Here's what I'm thinking at this point. I'm going to brake a little bit. I'm going to stay to the outside while everyone else shoots that inside. I'm going to wait for a gap in the traffic and try to make that left-hander in a more normal fashion. That's what I'm thinking. You notice in the mini map here, there's a little bit of a break. There's a group of people here, and then there's a little break, and then there's a group of people. You have to shoot into that gap. So what I'm allowing to happen is all of these people here at this front group are going to pass me, and I'm going to shoot that little tiny gap to get across the corner. So I'm just trying to time this perfectly. So here's what I do. I brake to the right. I stay right, as far right as I possibly can. I let everybody go, and then I make my move, right? Luckily, I make the move at the right time. This guy ends up T-boning me, but I'm in a good position when I get T-boned because I'm able to control the car. I don't even hit the wall. I don't know how many times you guys have done this corner, but the number of times that you go into the wall in this corner is unreal. So to be speared and still not go into the wall, that's a huge achievement. So you should be trying to do that as much as possible. It's just planning. All it is planning. And because of that, me and Seabass here get to go to the front and start slipstreaming. Now, this one was also another one where I was really patient. I exercised a lot of patience on this corner. So here's what I'm thinking. In this moment, I really would like to be with Seabass and make this pass on this Ferrari. I would like to be in front of the Ferrari. But as I'm getting closer to the corner, I'm noticing, like right here when I get to this gap, there's a choice that I had to make here. Either I'm going to accelerate through this gap and get in front, or I'm going to brake and let the Ferrari go and not fight this corner. Accelerating at this moment is a bad idea because then I wouldn't make the corner. I'm just going to understeer it, and I'm going to put Seabass into the wall. So I decided to let off the gas and let Seabass through, and that in turn lets this Vlad guy through as well. So see, I let them both through, and because of that, and I leave him space, Vlad actually understeers this corner, and I'm able to take it with a perfect line in slipstream with Seabass, which ends up working out perfectly. Because now we can NOS. I'm in slipstream. Seabass took it with a lot of speed. And now we're here in this first corner. Now, obviously, I'm trying to hit this gutter here. But look what I did at the very beginning of right before this turn here. I know there's guys like literally right behind me. They're either going to try to hit that gutter, which they should be doing, or they're going to miss it and go straight to the wall. And either way, I want nothing to do with the outside of this corner. So I'm going inside. I swing inside super early because I expect them to be like going quickly up the gutter, but turns out they went outside. I stayed in the gutter. I got hit while I was in the gutter, but luckily I was able to maintain control. And now Seabass and I are sort of off and running here, and we're not really too worried about, you know, ramming or any type of bad driving. At this point, it's just me and Seabass and Alos. Alos is very good as well. So these are excellent drivers here that, you know, I don't have to really worry about the ramming part. All right, this next one, we're in Hypercar. And again, we have a hard left-hander here at the beginning of this race. I'm starting in the back, which is not good at all. Let's talk about this very beginning here. I'm just looking for space. Again, just looking for open space. So I'm trying not to hit the back of cars, but I do also want to be on the inside of this corner because this corner here is just absolute death. Now, a lot of people go around this tree. A lot of people hit the tree, and a lot of people cut the tree or cut the corner. I want you to cut this corner. If you come to this corner, you need to cut it. And a lot of times drifting it is probably better, so you can keep your car pointed in the direction you need to go. Even if you end up hitting the wall, it's still better to, you know, have the car pointing that way. You don't want to hit the wall straight on. Anyways, I'm fighting for this position to be, you know, just on the inside. I don't want anyone else on the inside of where I'm at. So I go into it, and this is, you got this guy in the tree. You got all kinds of stuff going on here. But what I do know is we're basically in a good position here, because even if this guy on the left of me pushes me into the wall, I have all of these cars here that are going to sort of be like the barrier between me and the wall. And it's not like I'm intentionally wanting them to be pushed into the wall, but it's just about protecting myself in this corner. So we go into it. Notice I still have a lot of cars here on the left. A lot of these guys didn't take the corner correctly. Now, I'm not talking about Not Groovy or Skits, but some of the guys over here, I think maybe went a little bit too wide there on that corner. And because of that, they ended up putting themselves in a very risky position where, you know, the rest of us are going to sort of, you know, just hit the side of their cars. Anyways, so we survive it. And now I'm looking for just open space. I let these guys go. I let off the gas a little bit, then get back on it. And I'm looking for the gutter here. The gutter is very important on this particular turn because you can get yourself a lot of speed here. You can take this corner. It's a really tight corner. You can take it a lot faster in the gutter. So I'm looking for the gutter. I actually would have got it, but I got rear-ended on this one, and because of that, we went into the wall. But it's okay. I'm just chilling. We're not too frustrated here. We've got lots of NOS here. What we don't want to happen, we're in sort of a weird bad position here. What we don't want to happen, there's a front group of 3 here that is going to get away. They're in clear air. They don't have any more problems ahead of them. They're ready to go. I have 3 people and I'm boxed in. So I need to get out of this situation. Here's what I do. I'm looking for clean air, and then I'm going to push my way to that clean air, and I'm going to use my NOS to get around people. So here's what I'm at. I'm just looking. I'm clean that. Now look at this. I've shedded 2. I've shed 2 people, and I'm looking for another one. I have a pass here available. I've got the NOS. I'm going for it, and I'm using a lot of NOS to stay. He actually NOSed as well. He didn't want me to pass him. I took that position. I had to take it. I used a lot of NOS to do it, and I really didn't want to do that. What it means is it's going to put a lot of pressure on me to make the next 2 corners. These 3 guys in the front, they're going to be gone. They're good racers. They're going to be gone. If I don't absolutely nail these next 2 corners, or at the very least, don't mess them up, I don't even have a chance to get into slipstream. So here's what I'm doing. I'm thinking I got to nail these corners. This one, I go a little bit wide, but I control it. Lose a little traction. No big deal. Okay, a little bit of NOS here. Now this corner, because I used a little NOS coming out of that corner, this corner is super crucial. If I don't hit this corner, the race is over. I'm never going to catch these guys. End up hitting a very nice gutter. I exit with a lot of speed, and I just barely get the slipstream of Yami. And then because of that, I'm using NOS just to stay here. And because of that, I was able to have enough. And then I threw it away. I was able to have enough. I gave myself a chance to be in slipstream with the front group. Unfortunately, I fumbled it on the next turn. I followed up a really good one with a really bad one. Anyways, it is what it is. I was trying to get into slipstream, and I gave myself a chance. That's all you need at the beginning of the race. You want to give yourself a chance to have a good finish. So that's the story of this race. And I'm sure, I don't remember what happened in this race, but I'm sure Skits and Not Groovy just pulled away because I don't have any NOS at all. I used all of it to try to stay there. And yep, is what it is. All right, this one's actually in Rally, and this is a beach section. So what's really important here is the car choice. I chose the Mini Cooper S. It's by far the best car for this section. It tends to not bounce as much. It tends to not like freak out and oversteer in some of those situations. It does really well with like really rough, and it seems like it has better you know, clearance too, so it goes through the water a little bit quicker. So this is going to be the car choice for this route. But beyond that, I want to talk about how I started this. I'm starting sort of in the back-ish, like, yeah, like 20th or something. But here's what I'm doing as I'm going through this. I know in my mind, I want to cut the inside of this checkpoint that's on the beach. So I'm watching for anyone to sort of shoot that inside gap. And notice at the very last second, this guy comes up. I didn't expect him to, but he did anyways. And what I'm trying to do is force him to the inside of this checkpoint. I don't want to hit this outside because then you're just going to end up in the water. You want to try to aim for the left side of this checkpoint, right? So I'm trying to force him in. Look, see how I'm pushing. I'm going to let him get the corner, but I don't want him to make me go into the water. So I'm pushing. All right, we both make it successfully, and now we're good. Now, what I want to do here is avoid all this chaos to the right. All of these people went all the way to the right, and now they're having to come back to the left. So we're just watching for this. We're watching for who's oversteering, who's making mistakes, and we're just going to try not to run into the back of any cars. That's it. That's all it is. Don't run into the back of any cars. See how I swapped to the right a little? These guys are swinging back left. All right, here we go. Don't run into any cars. Pretty open here. Notice, again, on this one, I want to go to the left at this next checkpoint because that's the way that you should be going. It's a faster line to get back on the road. So you hit this checkpoint, go back on the road. So I don't want these guys here. I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, I do not want to be on the right side of these cars because this is going to be a nightmare for me. So what do? Let off a little bit, let them pass. I want to get behind them and be right here lined up for this checkpoint. When I get to this checkpoint, we cut to the left. You don't even have to go through it. You just got to get close. So boom, cut to the left. You got to avoid these buildings. They will put you at a dead stop. Get to the road. Now I'm in 13th, but check this out. We can nos a little bit. We're going way faster than everyone else that's coming off the sand. Making passes. We're in 3rd already for this race. Now for this turn, it's a drift. And I'm looking to control myself here going across the sand. These guys went super wide. You don't want to take this very wide. You want to try to make sure you drift it because you want to get into the sand, straighten the car out, and accelerate. So here we go. Now I know he's coming over. I expect the hit, and so I keep my line, and I sort of turn into him. I don't know if you got to see that here. Watch this. So I'm watching him go wide. Both go really wide. And I know he's coming back this way, so I turn into him a little bit just to straighten him out and to make sure that, you know, his momentum doesn't knock me off my course. So now we're just in slipstream here. But again, on this one, you want to cut to the left of this checkpoint flag. Stay left. And what I'm thinking is there's a couple of jumps here. I'm going to use those jumps in order to get a little bit of distance. Just those little bit of jumps. You can see on the mini map, I put some distance between me and second place, about a half a second. And then finally, for this checkpoint, again, you're cutting to the left on this checkpoint. Try to stay as far left as possible. All the way left. There's a little bit of grip there with some of that, grass that's there. And you want to keep as much speed as possible. And that's kind of the race. You see, I'm starting to pull away a little bit. I don't think I did eventually at this race. I think I got caught somewhere. But the point is you want to avoid chaos. And to avoid chaos, you have to be smart about where you're going. You have to be intentional about what part of the checkpoint you're going through and where you want to end up. And then obviously you have to anticipate other people's movement. All right, here we have another example of a rally start. I'm starting in the mid pack. This one is a particularly hairy corner as well. You got a hard left and a hard right. So you got two corners where you have a lot of congestion. And so this one, I definitely recommend just looking for that clean air once again at the start. And then you need to position yourself accordingly. So in this particular corner, I want to be on the inside. And I don't want anyone to shoot that inside gap because if they do, it could really throw off my corner. I need to be as inside as possible here without like losing too much speed. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now, what I didn't see coming is the guy who decided to be even more insider than I was, which is this guy right here. So he takes the inside line, and I just let off the gas at this point. I let him pass and then decide to keep the line that I wanted. So I just let that go. Didn't worry too much about it. Now on this corner, notice everybody's still kind of inside on the setting up the corner. Look how far outside I decide to go. Compared to where they are, I'm way out here, and I could have been even farther outside, but I wanted to make sure I made this turn. So I cut inside, and look what happens. All those guys get congested, and I end up having a lot of free space here on the inside. So now I'm just nosing because I want to make sure that I don't want anyone on my left. We have a left-hand turn coming up here, and on this particular one, it's really important to cut this checkpoint. So you want to stay to the left of the checkpoint and you want to be drifting going into it. It's important to do that. I don't want anyone on the left side of me right here. Now, unfortunately, you can see these little arrows. This is my death once again. This is 2 arrows of death that are gonna be like right on the inside of where I'm at. In my mind, I'm thinking, I really hope they understand how to take this corner and they're not just gonna go straight. If they go straight, it's gonna be a problem. I think they're all right. They didn't take it perfectly, but I think I actually saved them on this corner. So let's see what happens. Yeah, he was going very hard. I think he wanted to take maybe the gutter or something. I'm not really even sure what he was doing. But basically, I knew it and I cut over early. I recognized it. Both arrows of death pushed me. And guess what? Didn't even have to worry about the wall. I figured it out. I just went a little bit early on my drift and it was no problem. And that's kind of the story of this start, man. Like, this is just anticipation on my part. I anticipated this coming. I didn't see the arrows, but I anticipated and just drifted early. That way, if they did hit me, I'm still turning into them and their momentum didn't affect me that much. So anyways, that's kind of what you got to do. You really need to be planning what you're doing. All right, lastly, I want to talk about AGP on the highway. So, well, AGP starts in general, but specifically highway, there's something you need to do at the beginning of these races to just give yourself a chance. It depends on where you start, obviously, but you need to think about how much NOS you have right at the beginning of the race. If you're not thinking about that, you're already at a disadvantage. You need to use that NOS to get to top speed as soon as you possibly can. So when I start this race, I'm pretty far back, which means I'm going to have pretty good NOS power. So as I'm going through this, I'm thinking I need to get to the front as soon as possible. So I'm already getting close. I'm in 6th gear already. This is where I should be using NOS, but I'm looking for clean air. I'm trying not to hit anybody. So I'm looking for the clean air. Here it is, NOS. Now notice this guy came over. I'm trying to shoot this gap right here and I'm NOSing again, all the way up to top speed. Now we're sitting at top speed. So we're in slipstream with the front of the pack and we're in a good position. There's 2 or 3, I think, scary like bridge crossings here. And we are really bunched up as a group here. So here we are. Just survive this, man. You're trying to stay in the middle. You don't want to be where this guy is. You don't want to be close to the walls. You want to try to stay in the middle as much as possible. And that's what I was doing. This guy was pushing. I just pushed back, stayed as close to the middle as possible. That's all I'm trying to do here. I do not want to touch these walls. And once you get past these, those bridges, you're pretty much in the clear. And now it's just about, you know, staying in slipstream, and it's super easy to do with AGP. So anyways, that's it for this one. Anyways, guys, I hope this helps, man. I know this was a really long video and it was probably boring because it's just me talking about, you know, little stuff, but I'm just trying to show you guys the things that are like going through my head as I'm starting a race. And to be honest with you, I'm not even the best at, like, there's guys that can anticipate things way better than I can. But as I was watching these races, I just want to show you some of the tips, some of the things that I'm thinking. And a lot of this has to do with knowing the track. A lot of it has to do with knowing how much NOS you have, what your car is capable of, and all of that stuff comes with playtime. Like, none of this is going to be easy for you. It just takes time to learn. But hopefully with the tips and with you understanding like sort of what's going through my mind on these races, hopefully that can help you make better decisions at the beginning of your races. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.